work. Alright, looks like we are live on YouTube, getting us up going on the Rumble, and we are live. Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. I am Theo Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you. You know, it's been a couple weeks. It's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So,
at least.
There's a new podcast coming out at some point, but we'll get into that some point later. You know, it'll come out when it comes out. Anyway, what is today? Today is May 22nd, 2025. This show is about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history, starting with in the year 334 BC.
Whoa.
That's quite a ways away there.
Before I was born.
Yeah, just about. The Macedonian army of Alexander the Great defeated Darius III of Persia in the Battle of the Granicus. And Darius III, I believe that was actually the father of Xerxes, or maybe the grandfather of Xerxes.
I have no idea.
I think, because I know of the name, I just don't know exactly where to put it. I think Darius was the father of Xerxes. And Xerxes, as of course, you know, we know through the movie 300, that Leonidas and his 300 Spartans with, you know, some other, like who are they, like Athenians or whatever? Like, some other, you know, Greek army or whatever.
Yeah.
But that is a historical event. Like, the movie itself was Hollywooded to hell. But, I think, like, this is what started the whole animosity between Persia and Greece. Or maybe that was way before then. I'm not sure.
Well, I can say that's the era of BM before me.
Before me. And I just realized, good thing that, is it picking up on here and on here? Let's see here. Yes, it is. All right, so good. I realized that on Discord I'm on push to talk, but thankfully nobody else is here right now. But I'm gonna change it to voice. That means I have to push a button for it to light up and they can hear me. Now you can see like the little green outline. Yeah. That's because it's on voice activity. So.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on to 760. That's pretty big jump in time right there. 334 BC to 760. That's over 1,000 years.
Yes, it is.
We just jumped a freaking millennium right there. We have the 14th recorded perihelion passage of Halley's Comet. Now,
okay.
Now, here's something interesting about that. Halley's Comet comes, what, every 76 years or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
So this is the 14th recorded. So, like, what's 76 times 14?
Wow.
And that's how much we've been recording it.
10 is 700.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So how long have we been recording it?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It is. It's due to come back around, or has it already come around?
I don't know. What goes around comes around, I guess. Let's see.
It will do that, that's for sure.
Unless we blow it up or something. Halley's Comet. It's 72 to 80 years. Its next is or perihelion. Last one was February 9th, 1986. Next one is July 28th, 2061. So it's coming.
Okay, so it was 81 that it came by.
86.
86.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember we saw a comet when we were down in Mexico once. That must have been Halley Bob or something.
That was Halley's. I remember, that's right. You're right.
It wasn't Halley's Comet because I wasn't alive in 86.
Well, you're right there. We saw something.
Yeah, I remember seeing a comet, so maybe it was Halley Bob. Or is it something else? And Halley Bob.
I've never heard of Halley Bob, but whatever, we saw something.
Anyway, 1176, a murder attempt by assassins on Saladin near Aleppo. And from our other source here, it says the Hashashin, the assassins, attempted to assassinate Saladin near Aleppo. Saladin, you know, being a major historical figure, especially in the Islamic history and whatnot. He's he's the one who took Jerusalem from the Christians, and I think it stayed Muslim until the friggin' world governments came, and
47.
Shoehorned Israel in
47,
there.
47, I think, or 48?
47 they convened, 48, I believe, is when it was official. So, anyway, 1370, speaking of Jews, the Jews were expelled and massacred in Brussels, Belgium, and from our other source here, it says Brussels massacre. An estimated 13 Jews were murdered, and the rest of the Jewish community were banished from Brussels, Belgium, for allegedly desecrating consecrated host. So, something happened, and the Jews got blamed, and, you know, killing 13 people and banishing the rest of an entire community seems a bit extreme. But, you know, religion was a lot more prevalent in the world back in 1370 than it is today. So, I mean... Anyway, 1455, opening battle in England's 30-year War of the Roses. Richard of York took St. Albans, capturing King Henry VI. And from the other source here, we have start of the Wars of the Roses. At the first Battle of St. Albans, Richard, Duke of York, defeated and captured King Henry VI of England. So that's
one of those guys, the Battle of the War of the Roses. That's
yeah,
kind of an odd name.
It is it's a war like any other war. It just the name it just makes it sound so frilly.
Yeah,
you know, like isn't there a movie called War of Roses or something, and it's some stupid romantic comedy?
I have no idea.
You know, I don't know.
I just get a vision of a hippie putting a rose in the barrel of a gun or rifle.
Yeah. 1520, the massacre at the festival of Todate took place during the fall of Tenochtitlan, resulting in turning the Aztecs against the Spanish.
Jeez.
Yep. 1570, the first atlas, the Theatrum Orbis Terrarum, Theater of the World, it was published by Abraham Ortelis in Antwerp with 70 maps.
What year again?
1570, the first atlas.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool.
That is.
Yeah. 1690 here, San Francisco de los Tejas mission, founded by the Spanish on San Pedro Creek. First Spanish mission in East Texas. It was later relocated. Okay.
Wouldn't you, just to skip back for 1 second, wouldn't you love to see that atlas of what they thought the world looked like back then?
Yeah, and actually, so we haven't gotten to this part yet. Okay. But I did look that up, actually, and... while trying to find good images for the thumbnail and everything. And this is what I got looking that up. So, this is, I believe, the whole world map. Let's see if I can open image in new tab. Let's see here.
We have it all put together.
Well, it looks like that's one picture.
Yeah.
So, I'm trying to find a bigger image of it, though. Well, we got to move on up for the sake of time.
At context, so it doesn't help.
Yeah. 1702, commission for the first census of Iceland was issued. The first modern census, carried out by Professor Arne Magnusson and Vice Chancellor Paul Vidalin, 1702 to 103. And I want to know what the findings were. If anyone could let us know what those findings were, because, how many people did they figure out were living in Iceland? This is not just the first census of Iceland, but it says the first modern census. So...
yeah.
Of Iceland, of all places. That's interesting. 1761, the first life insurance policy in North America issued in Philadelphia. Oh, and here we go. With insurance.
Yeah.
What's the saying with a camel's nose?
When the nose gets under the tent.
Oh, man. This is a camel's nose situation if there ever was one. 1762, Trevi Fountain was officially completed and inaugurated in Rome. And here we go. Actually, I forgot I need to move this mic. So that way you can pick up the loon a lot louder. There we go. Here's a picture of the Trevi Fountain. You've actually visited this, right?
I've seen so many things, but I believe, yes.
Man.
And where is it at?
This is in Rome.
No, I haven't then. No.
You haven't?
No.
I could have sworn you've been to Rome. Okay.
No, I have not been to Rome.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was in France. Sorry, I wasn't listening to the beginning.
Well, let me double check that. Yeah, Rome, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful fountain and everything.
Yeah.
And there's this whole thing about people throwing in so many coins, they rake them out on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah, that's known for whatever.
Yep.
3 coins in a fountain.
Yep. 1766, Istanbul earthquake with estimated magnitude of 7.1 caused widespread extensive damage, followed by a significant tsunami. From the other source, it says here, large earthquake caused heavy damage and loss of life in Istanbul and the Marmara region. So,
Istanbul seems to get hammered periodically.
Well,
huge earthquakes.
I mean, I'm no geologist, but look at the topography. Yeah. It is a small sliver of land between 2 large bodies of water. What does that mean geologically? I don't know, but maybe that's a seismically active area?
Could be, depending where the fault lines are, but apparently it is.
Yeah. 1799, Napoleon, bless you, Napoleon made a statement in support of reestablishing Jerusalem for the Jews. So as far back as 1799, you would argue that that what would eventually become known as the State of Israel was a thing.
Yeah.
I know it goes back far beyond the whole Holocaust thing, which was used to validate its existence. But if you look at the 1919 Balfour Declaration, a Zionist affiliated with the Rothschilds, wanted to put a Israeli home state in Palestine. So, yeah. Think about that what you will. Go look it up. Don't listen to me. Utilize me as a springboard for your own self-education out there. Moving on up to 1803, the first U.S. public library opened in Connecticut.
Whoa.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
1804, the Lewis and Clark expedition officially began as the Corps of Discovery departed from St. Charles in Missouri. So that's pretty cool. 1807, former U.S. Vice President Aaron Burr was tried for treason in Richmond, Virginia, and was acquitted. Now, here's something weird, okay? So this was 1807, and right here, it says on the website, acquitted, okay? From our other source, it says here, 1807, a grand jury indicted former Vice President of the United States, Aaron Burr, on a charge of treason. You can't be acquitted and indicted at the same time. Which one is it? I'm pretty sure he was acquitted, but why the hell would these people say they're indicted? That is weird.
Yeah.
You can't mess around with it. I mean, that's such a it's such a simplistic, mix up.
I'm sure he was indicted then acquitted, but not on the same day.
Yeah. Actually, I think you're right. I think he was indicted but later acquitted.
Yeah.
So, maybe that's why, they put it in here in parentheses. He was later acquitted, but then you have to say later acquitted. You got to be precise.
Well, you don't even have to identify. You just put down acquitted, meaning he was acquitted. Doesn't have to.
But when? Because if he was indicted,
in parentheses means
but
go look it up if you want to know more than that.
Okay.
They're just kind of giving you the whole story.
Or have a dialogue like what we're doing right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
But what's the actual fact? So now we gotta look it up. So if anybody can let us know, let us know in the comment section. We gotta move on up here to 1807 as well. Townsend Speakman first sold fruit-flavored carbonated drinks in Philadelphia.
How about that?
Yeah. Is this real life or is it just a fantasy? Which, look into the history of Fanta. Really interesting. Did you know Fanta existed because Coca-Cola could not sell Coca-Cola in Nazi Germany during the war? So they had to invent Fanta to continue making money. And that company was allowed to work with both sides. What the hell?
No, I didn't know that.
You got away with it. 1809, on the second and last day of the Battle of Aspern-Essling near Vienna, Austria, Napoleon I was defeated in a major battle for the first time in his career and repelled by an enemy army for the first time in a decade.
That's
so
huge,
Napoleon Bonaparte,
yeah.
Napoleon
That's
I.
huge for him because he's a great warrior, whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
His first defeat.
Yep. Well, we will, I think, be talking about him again, actually. But we have 1819. The SS Savannah set sail from Savannah Harbor in Georgia on a historic journey to become the first steam-propelled vessel to cross the Atlantic.
Whew.
Yeah.
I had no idea steam when it was used to cross the Atlantic.
Oh, of course.
Sail till they. Well, steam would be the answer. Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, but as you can see here from this picture, and actually speaking of pictures, so we've seen that. I don't know what that is, so I think that's coming up. No, well we've talked about this. I don't know what that picture is of. Oh, actually, I think that was the first library. Remember we were talking about the first one? Okay. Now, this is the first steamship. Now, as you can see here, it has sails and paddles.
Yeah.
Because back in those days, they still, as you were saying, primarily used wind. But when there was no wind, instead of just sitting there, they turned on the engine. So they had a way.
And how reliable in the day was that steam engine going to be? So they had to have a backup.
And what was its fuel consumption? How much of that could you carry?
Well, you got plenty of water, and you got to bring it on board and cook it and make steam.
But what do you use to make steam?
Water.
But what do you use to heat the water?
Yeah, true.
Coal or wood.
Yeah.
So
most likely coal. They couldn't carry enough wood.
The ship is made of wood.
Kind of needed to stay afloat.
I mean,
that's not usable.
Potato.
Just take one of those planks, would you? Well, the water will come in if we take that plank.
Well, if we burn it fast enough, we'll stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, 1826, HMS Beagle departed on its first voyage to survey Patagonia and Tierra del Fuego. So HMS Beagle. Right, did we talk about Beagle, or am I having like a weird... No, I was thinking of Lewis and Clark. So I was thinking of the Beagle when reading Lewis and Clark, but this is the ship famous by Charles Darwin.
Oh.
This is the ship he used. 1840, the penal transporting of British convicts to the New South Wales colony was abolished. So, the no longer a penal colony for Australia.
Yeah.
Well, history often goes back to the way it used to be, unfortunately. 1842, farmers Lester Howe and Henry Wetzel. Wetzel. Now, this kind of raised an eyebrow, so pay attention to what I'm saying here. 1842, farmers Lester Howe and Henry Wetzel discovered Howe Caverns in New York State when they stumbled upon a large gaping hole in the ground. Why is it only named after one of them?
What's the name of it again?
Howe Caverns.
Oh. Well, Wetzel went on to make pretzels, so he didn't get the recognition he should have had.
Or did he get pushed into the hole? No, I found this alone.
Hip check. Where'd he go? Oh, well, I found it.
Well, that's why they call it Wetzel Pretzel. He was a pretzel on the ground from the impact. But jokes aside...
I could make a pretzel out of him.
Yikes. Just stumbling upon a large gaping hole in the ground. That's concerning there.
Yeah.
1843, the first wagon train departed Independence, Missouri for Oregon with 700 to 1,000 migrants. Wow. That's a pretty big wagon train right there.
700. Wow.
That's
huge.
All of just wagons, now, you're not carrying the people in the wagons, you're carrying your supplies to survive.
Oh, yeah.
So you have one or two people at the front, and most people are walking. So, how many thousands of covered wagons? Oh my God! How, did they have enough wood to make all that? That's madness.
What interests me is I'd like to know how many finished.
Yeah, that is a good question. 1848 here, 1846, the Associated Press was formed in New York City as a non-profit news cooperative. Yeah, we'll be talking about them here again. We'll be talking about that too. 1848, slavery was abolished in Martinique. Wherever that is, that's pretty cool.
No idea.
Oh, good. 1849, Abraham Lincoln received a patent, currently the only U.S. president to do so, although this was before his presidency.
Of course.
For a device to lift a boat over shoals and obstructions. And your phone is ringing, by the way. Your phone is ringing. I can hear it in the other room. So
I'll be back.
From the other source here, future U.S. President Abraham Lincoln was issued a patent for an invention to lift boats, making him the only U.S. president to ever hold a patent. And let's see, this is the actual patent right here. Some kind of universal bar device or something. It kind of looks like the skeletal structure of what would eventually be the first aircraft carriers. Kind of weird looking. So we will be revisiting this and some other things when the loon gets back. He just needs to be on his phone every now and then, expecting a lot of calls. Anyway, moving on up to 1856. Oh, this is something I'm going to have to reread again when the loon gets back. Violence in the U.S. Senate. South Carolina Representative Brooks used a cane on Massachusetts Senator Charles Sumner. And it says here, Congressman Preston Brooks of South Carolina severely beat Senator Charles Sumner of Massachusetts with a cane in the hall of the United States Senate for a speech Sumner had made regarding Southerners and slavery. Yikes. We actually have a picture of it right here. Southern chivalry. Absolutely yikes. 1858, Confederación Granadina, now Colombia, formed. All right. 1863, War Department established Bureau of Colored Troops. Well, it's segregation, but at least it's not slavery. At least it's they're letting them in to some degree. It's taking steps in the right direction. We're not there yet, but we're going the right way. 1863, during the American Civil War, the Union forces began the siege of Port Hudson, which lasted 48 days, becoming the longest siege in U.S. military history. All right. So we haven't besieged anything since then. I think the era of sieges are long over. You don't really siege anything with missiles and drone strikes and space lasers. So 1866, Oliver Winchester founded the Winchester Repeating Arms. Wow, that's pretty big right there. Not surprised in the least that our primary source doesn't even cover it, you know. 1872, Amnesty Act restored civil rights to Southerners, except for 500. Okay, that's a little strange. 1872 here from our other source. During the Reconstruction era, President Ulysses S. Grant signed the Amnesty Act into law, restoring full civil and political rights to all but about 500 Confederate sympathizers. Okay, I wonder who those 500 were. I mean, didn't they posthumously give Jefferson Davis back his Senate seat? So I don't know. 1884, a one-arm pitcher, Hugh Daly, fanned 13 hitters. Wow. Struck them out, or is he go up with an actual fan? I mean, he only has one hand, so. 1888, Leroy Buffington patents a system to build skyscrapers, and I think here's a picture of the repeating Winchester, so you can kind of see a little cross section there of how the gun worked. And this is the skyscraper thing right there. That's pretty cool. What else do we have here? 1892, Dr. Washington Sheffield invented the toothpaste tube. All right, we have a picture of that as well, right here. Tastes good. Yeah, I have my own toothpaste tube here, and I recommend, if you guys don't know about these little things, it really saves you a lot of money. So you don't throw away tubes, with enough toothpaste that it can be another brushing worth another couple, So the dang thing was invented here with a key. So as you went through it, you wound it up so it doesn't fill back, and saves you as much toothpaste as you can. What else do we got here? 1894, U.S. inventor Augustine Sackett was granted a patent for Sackett board, the prototype for drywall. All right, that's what this is right here. I can't really understand this, but whatever this is, it's a prototype for drywall. U.S. patent number 520,123. 1900, finally in the turn of the century, U.S. inventor Edwin S. Voti received a patent for a pneumatic piano player. We have a picture of this as well. The Aeolian Company's new piano player, the Pianola. After 8 years of study and experiment, the Aeolian Company announced the perfection of their new invention. So a pneumatic piano player. 1900 as well, the Associated Press organized in New York City as nonprofit news cooperative. Okay. Didn't we cover that already? Actually, it was, I'm not going to look for it, but I know we covered Associated Press. 1902, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt signed a treaty with Mexico under which both countries agreed to submit a long-standing dispute over interest payments to the Court of Arbitration at The Hague. If anyone can let us know more about that event, that's pretty interesting, but for the sake of time, we can't really get into the meat of most articles. It is a shame. RMG Relaunch! How you doing, good sir? He is here. He is saying hello on the Rumble. Do we have any comments here on the YouTube? No, we do not as of yet, unfortunately, but maybe in the future. 1905, the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, Abdul Hamid II, established the Ula Millet for the Aromanians of the empire. For this reason, the Aromanian National Day is sometimes celebrated on this date, although most do so on May 23rd instead, which is tomorrow, which is when the event was publicly announced. So instead of celebrating the actual event, the actual event's anniversary, they celebrate the anniversary of its public disclosure, which is interesting in its own way. 1906, a British garrison left Esquimalt on the Pacific coast after a military occupation that began in 1858, the last British soldiers stationed in Canada. Okay. 1906, Wright brothers were granted a patent for their flying machine, having applied for one 3 years prior, patent number 821,393. All right. 1 year later, 1907, Plaza Cinema opened in Ottawa, Kansas, the world's oldest purpose-built movie theater. And I believe it is still around here. This is the patent for the Wright Brothers flying machine. You know, obviously, we all know about the Wright Flyer and how it looks. And here is the theater. I think it's still around because this doesn't look like that old of a photo. And I saw other pictures of it, you know, other artist renditionings, and it's the same building, you know, same marquee structure. So I think that's the same building still around today. 1909, first San Francisco fireboat, the David Chanel, was launched. Okay, that's pretty cool. 1911, Braves pitcher Cliff Curtis lost his 23rd game in a row. You know what? 23 times, you know, you're out. You're out like, what's 3 divided by 23? 7, 14, 21. So almost 8. You struck out almost 8 times. Quit while you're not even ahead, man. 1915, Lassen Peak erupted with a powerful force. Only mountain volcano other than Mount St. Helens to erupt on the continental U.S. during the 20th century. So he's talking about within the, you know, like within the lower 48. Of course, there have been volcanoes in Alaska and obviously Hawaii. Probably, I'm not sure, bigger than Mount St. Helens, but I don't know. Maybe they've seeped out more lava. I'm not sure. I'm not a volcanologist, scientician. 1915, a local train collided with a troop train, killing 226 in Gretna, Scotland. You know, that sounds awful enough, but here we have, from our other source in 1915, 3 trains collided in the Quintenshill rail disaster near Gretna Green, Scotland, killing 227 people and injuring 246 others. Wow. So 3 trains colliding. That sounds nightmarish. And after the last war in Foxhole, dealing with all the spaghetti around Brodytown and Screeching Trail, oh my goodness. So, 1919, A.E. Douglas established the relative dates of 2 archaeological sites using ancient wood samples, marking a major step forward in the dating of archaeological sites. It's pretty cool right there. Do I actually have a photo for this? I'm not sure. There's a picture of the train crash. Wow. You can see one loco with its coal car and the mangled remains of something else over here from another train. What appears to be a crane is involved. I guess actually this is probably cleanup efforts here. Oh, well, this is coming up here, so we'll get to that. Let's move this up over to here then. Let's see here. 1926, Chiang Kai-shek replaced the communists in Guomindang, China. Yep. So he was trying to, he was fighting the communists. So, 1927, an 8.3 Nanshan earthquake struck to Shanghai, China. Over 40,900 people were killed. Yikes. We have here from our other source, near Xinjiang, China, an 8.3 magnitude earthquake caused 200,000 deaths in one of the world's most destructive earthquakes. Holy crap. So we have 40,900 to 200,000. That's a pretty big discrepancy right there. If anybody can let us know in the comment section, you know, what their findings were, you know, let's start a dialogue about that. And 1928, U.S. Congress accepted the Jones-White Merchant Naval Act. What does this entail? I would like to look this up, but we got to keep on going. 1930, Yankees future Baseball Hall of Fame first baseman Lou Gehrig became the first to hit 3 home runs 3 times. As New York outscores Philadelphia A's 20-13, the teams combined for then record 10 homers. Wow, that's incredible. 365 days later, 1931, George Inn introduced genuine diamondback rattlesnake with supreme sauce in a can by his Florida Products Corporation. The popular item ceased production in 1944 after when the owner dies, a victim of one snake's revenge. It says here, canned rattlesnake meat first went on sale in Florida. So, yeah, it was canned rattlesnake meat with supreme sauce. So I guess venom or something, which you know, a very interesting thing, and it's too bad the Loon isn't here to talk about it, but like there's this guy apparently who has been for years and years, maybe decades, microdosing various venomous snakes' venom into his body with hopes of building up his own antibodies and creating his own immunity to it. Kind of like something akin to that one king who microdosed himself over like many years with various poisons and built up an immunity to poison in case any rival lords or rulers try to kill him with poison. The irony in this situation being that his castle was besieged and they were losing the battle, so to try to alleviate capture, he tried to poison himself, but he was immune to it and he got captured anyway while sick. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make with this guy with the rattlesnake venom and all that stuff is that as opposed to utilizing livestock like horses and pigs and cows and whatnot to, which sounds awful, utilizing them as guinea pigs literally to make anti-venom, because now they're horse antibodies, they're cow antibodies. This guy has human antibodies, and he's becoming an actual person to be farmed for various venomous snake like counter venoms and all that stuff. And you just popped in the middle of that. One hell of a conversation.
I don't know what it was about.
Yeah,
I was kind of lost.
Well, like right here. Well, we are now in 1931. You've missed quite a bit, unfortunately. But I'll reread this here. 1931. George Inn introduced genuine diamondback rattlesnake with supreme sauce in a can by his Florida Products Corporation. The popular item ceased production in 1944 after when the owner dies, a victim of one snake's revenge. So he got bit and he died.
Yeah.
So canned rattlesnake meat first went on sale in Florida. It's, same thing. So and then that got me off on a whole tangent.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
Yeah, which I guess you'll have to watch it later. To get caught up. 1933, the first modern sighting of the Loch Ness Monster by Ali and John McKay saw something resembling a whale. I wonder if it asked for tree fitty. So that's a South Park joke. And then I realized that this Girl Scout was a 50-foot tall Mesozoic monster. I said, God damn it, Loch Ness Monster.
Don't get it right over my head.
Anyway, 1936, Aer Lingus is incorporated as the national airline for the Republic of Ireland. And it says here the same thing. It was founded by the Irish government as the national airline of the Republic of Ireland. So it's pretty cool there. 1938, Dodgers announced contracts to install lights at Ebbets Field.
Lights.
Yes, electric lights.
Man, how about that?
Like people these days, like who cares? Electric light, yeah, everybody has them. Not 1938.
No.
That's kind of groundbreaking, kind of big. I mean, like we gotta not take things for granted.
And in Brooklyn, of all places.
Yeah. Hey, I've been installing lights here. Forget about it. 1939, Germany's Adolf Hitler and Italy's Benito Mussolini signed the Pact of Steel, formalizing the 1936 alliance known as the Rome-Berlin Axis. My other source says World War II, despite it not having started yet, because World War II started in, I think, September 1st, 1939. I think is when, the Nazis invaded Poland. So.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, the Pack of Steel. So let's see here. I have images. This is to get him caught up to speed really quick. This is Abraham Lincoln's patent.
Oh, okay.
Manner of buoying vessels. So some kind of some kind of system to lift.
Buoying means taking them out of the water. Docking them.
Yeah. So what else? Some guy got beat with a cane in the House of the Senate.
Oh, yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
He died 5 days later.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is a patent how to build skyscrapers.
Oh.
So somebody had to patent it, figure out how to place I-beams and all that stuff. So,
build to strength.
Yeah. Toothpaste.
Oh.
That's why I brought this in.
Wow.
And I was kind of pitching this device. It's really nice. So. Because the dang thing was invented with a little screw thing at the bottom,
Yeah.
You squeeze it as you go.
Absolutely. I remember seeing those as a kid.
Yeah. Then this is the predecessor to drywall, some kind of thing. We have drywall.
Yeah.
So.
Well, before drywall, everything was lath and plaster.
Yeah. This was some kind of predecessor to that, though, something made of wood.
Yeah.
So, Pneumatic piano.
Hmm.
So I think like automatic piano player and pneumatic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What else do we got here? The Wright brothers
Ooh,
received
yeah.
a patent.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and
What else we
the oldest or the first purpose-built movie theater.
Ah.
So the first structure purpose-built
Yeah.
to be a movie theater.
Yeah.
And I think it still stands because that photo looks rather new.
Well, look at the cars in front of it.
Yeah, well, my point. So I think
Yeah.
it still stands. So, so now we've caught you up to speed with that. Oh yeah, this
Ooh.
three trains collided,
Ooh.
and hundreds died. A troop train, 1915. So
troop train.
yeah, one of the trains was a troop train. 3 trains collided.
Good. Jeez.
Yeah. And this is, here we go, Axis Power signed 10-year alliance to remake Europe. So now we're caught up with our pictures here. What else do we got? 1941, British troops attack Baghdad. Now, this is something interesting because from another source, and this seems like a different article, but it's in the same country. 1941, during the Anglo-Iraqi War, British troops took Fallujah. We all know about Fallujah. But 1941, well, this is actually like right before the outbreak of World War II. Because I just remembered, World War II starts on September 1st, I think, 1939. So this is...
Well, no, that's well within it. That's
yeah.
when we got into it.
Yeah, never mind. No.
We weren't in it yet.
No. December 7th. I said September 1st, 1939.
Oh.
Is when World War II starts.
But this isn't right
so
at
this
the beginning of it.
Yeah, that's...
it's well into it.
It's a couple years into it.
Yeah.
But during World War II...
Yeah.
While the British were fighting the Germans, they were also fighting the Iraqis. What the hell? And I don't think the Iraqis were any part of the Axis. So they were fighting 2 wars at once.
I don't think so.
That's kind of crazy. They were fighting multiple wars in unison.
Yeah.
And to think, by this time in 1941, we were in Italy by then. No, not yet.
No, not us.
No, that was 44. 1941, we are definitely in Africa.
Not us.
We were helping, but I'm talking about British here.
Oh,
British.
okay.
British troops took Fallujah.
Okay.
The British.
Yeah. Yes.
They took Baghdad.
Yes.
They attacked Baghdad.
Yes.
I'm not talking about the United States.
Okay.
Okay? They're fighting World War II, and they're fighting Iraq in 2 different wars simultaneously.
It was all one. It was worldwide.
No, Iraq had nothing to do with World War II. They were fighting 2 simultaneous wars.
Then I'd sure like to know why they attacked.
What's going on with Britain and Iraq? Because Iraq was not part of the Axis powers. There's just some random Middle Eastern country back then.
I have no answers for you. I don't know. I'd like to know, though.
1942, Mexico declared war on Nazi Germany and Japan, entering the Second World War on the side of the Allies. So, all right. It kind of reminds me a little bit of what was the telegram, the something telegram. It was some weird name. But that was World War One. I can't remember it.
What do you think? Mexico, Canada, they were all in it way before us. Well, yeah, no.
Well, no, I'm talking about the Zimmerman telegraph.
Okay.
That was intercepted.
Well, no, I guess we were in it before Mexico.
Yeah. Well, no, Canada declared war on Germany, and Canada declared war on Japan because of Pearl Harbor a day before we did.
I thought they were already in the war before that.
Well, that's Japan, not Germany,
not Europe. Yeah. True. Okay.
Yeah.
Before us, huh?
Before us, yeah. Wow. For the same reason, they declared war because of Pearl Harbor. So, but which goes to show that that Canada does not mess around. They are crazy. They want the blood. So they use something that happened to us to validate them declaring war on something that they had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
They want blood. So, 1942, the Steelworkers Organizing Committee disbanded, and a new trade union, the United Steelworkers, was formed. One thing falls, another takes its place. So there must always be a Lich King. 1943, Joseph Stalin disbanded the Comintern. That's pretty big.
What?
The Comintern. I think
what
that was that? Let's look that up here really quick. What was the Comintern? What was the Comintern? Communist International. It was founded at a Congress in Moscow in March 1919. Oh, okay, so this was part of the Stalinization, getting rid of Lenin, getting rid of Marxist-Leninism and bringing in Stalin communism. 1946, the first U.S. rocket, WAC Corporal, to reach edge of space, fired from White Sands Missile Range, New Mexico, and I believe that's maybe not this exact rocket, but man, like
in 43.
46.
Okay, 46. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Why? Do you know why that looks so familiar?
Why?
Well, I mean, like, you know, like, does that look familiar?
No.
It doesn't?
No.
Well, here, let's see here. V2. Now, does it look familiar?
I may have seen it. Yeah. Okay. I see where it's coming from.
Because the same people who built that.
Yeah.
Built this.
Yeah.
Operation Paperclip.
Yeah.
Not Oppenheimer. What was the other guy? What was the? What was?
What was Oppenheimer?
No, Oppenheimer was the nuclear guy. We saw the movie.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. Yeah. Yeah.
Some
he's
other
the rocket guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, what was his name? Somebody help me. Do we have any comments going on YouTube? No, we don't. Hold on a second. Von Braun.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
I don't need to look things up. I'm a historian. 1947, the Truman Doctrine went into effect, aiding Turkey and Greece. All right. And we also have 1947, the first U.S. ballistic missile was fired. So, like, you know, that has to be different than a rocket. Like, a ballistic missile is different than a rocket, I guess. I don't know what the difference is, but 1948, Finnish President J.K. Paasikivi released Yrjö Leino from his duties as Interior Minister in 1948 after the Finnish Parliament adopted a motion of censure of Leino with connection to his illegal handing over of 19 people to the Soviet Union in 1945. I have no idea what that means, but I thought that was cool. You know, some pretty lengthy Finnish history.
Yeah.
You know, and I met a Finnish person not too long ago.
Are you finished with him?
No, but I'm probably finished with this statement. 1949, Brooklyn Dodgers Don Newcomb in first MLB start shut out Cincinnati on 5 hits to win 3-0.
Don
Newcomb.
Yep.
Newcomb old brush. So
I'm surprised he was pitching that early in years. Because I think I saw him, didn't see him, but I remember him pitching for the Dodgers at the end of his career. Which would have been, say 54, 55, 56.
Well, that's only like 8 years
more
later.
More like 56, yeah.
Well, it's just 8 years, so that's not unheard of.
No, it isn't. It just seems like a long time ago. So,
yeah.
But it's really not.
In a galaxy far, far away?
Yeah, he was pitching for the Dodgers out here. Just very short time. He's probably right at the end of his career.
1953, U.S. President Eisenhower signed the offshore oil bill. I wonder what that entails. You know, that sounds pretty important. So, 1955, the oldest man to drive in the Grand Prix, age 55, finished 6th.
Ooh,
that's pretty cool.
Good for him.
Yeah. 1957, South Africa's government approved of racial separation in universities as part of apartheid.
Yeah.
In South Africa, you know,
now
like
it's going crazy.
Oh man, dude, like
direction.
it seems like it happened overnight. Just all of a sudden, all this stuff just happened. Like,
it didn't just happen. We're just hearing about it.
Yeah. So, 1958, the 1958 riots in Ceylon became a watershed in the race relations of various ethnic communities of Sri Lanka. The total deaths are estimated at 300, mostly Tamils. Yikes. 1960, a magnitude 9.4 to 9.6 earthquake struck near the city of Valdivia in Chile, the strongest ever recorded, causing multiple tsunamis and killing between 1,000 to 7,000 people. We have here, this is a different article actually, because we have here the earthquake, and then this is talking about the tsunami generated by a magnitude 9.4 through 9.6 earthquake in Chile strikes Hilo, Hawaii at 1:04 in the morning, severely damaging virtually all coastal towns between the 37th and 44th parallels. And we have here from another source, the Great Chilean Earthquake, measuring 9.5 on the moment magnitude scale, hit southern Chile, becoming the most powerful earthquake ever recorded. Holy crap.
I vaguely remember that. Vaguely, just
Wow.
because of Chile. I remember a big earthquake down in Chile, and that's all I remember about it.
Well,
So I assume it's this one.
not to make light, because that's a lot of people deaths, but
Yeah.
you know, you shake a bit when you get a little chilly. So that's one of my worst ever jokes. I mean, what is wrong with me? I'm terrible. 1961, first revolving restaurant, the Top of the Needle in Seattle opens.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's the interior
Yeah.
right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. There's no floor space. You
Not
know?
much. I think the restaurant they have at LAX, which isn't the height of the Needle, obviously.
No, but we've been in there.
Yeah, but I think that's what it's taken after, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
They kind of copied that on a smaller scale, not so high.
Oh, so like the one at LAX is after this.
I think. What year is this again?
This was 61.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I mean, it's the first revolving restaurant, and the
Yeah.
one at LAX revolves, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they never had it revolving when we were there, but you know.
No, I don't think it revolves
but
anymore.
but I saw that, you know, like the separation, like you could see,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
where it would
Well,
go.
obviously this is the first one, they say.
So. 1962, the Netherlands telephone network became completely automated. Oh. 1962 as well, New York Yankees outfielder Roger Maris walked 5 times, record 4 intentionally in a 9-inning game. And this is in here because I thought this record still stood, but there's other articles later on that I did not put in, which have higher records. So, but this is when what the record was at this time, 4 intentionally. Now they've had like up to 10 intentionally. They're just trying to walk people out. So, 1963, Greek Parliament leader Lambrakis was injured. And from our other sources, it says here, Greek left-wing politician Gregorius Lambrakis was clubbed over the head, causing his death 5 days later.
Jeez.
Yikes. Yikes.
Sounds Greek to me.
Yeah. I thought my jokes were bad. 1964, Lyndon B. Johnson's presented Great Society. That sounds communist to me. And by the way you're reacting, I have a suspicion I'm right in my presumption.
Yeah.
U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson launched his Great Society program. What does that entail? Tell us.
Oh, it was. I can't really get into. It's
Was it
socialism.
It's
So
okay.
basic socialism, and it's affected us until Ronald Reagan came along. 20, 30 years later.
Yeah.
It set us on a path of socialism.
You know, like when I see those words, Great Society, the
Yeah.
first thing that pops into my head is when Palpatine was like, you know, addressing the Senate, this first galactic empire. Like, you lunatic, dude. Somebody get him out of there. You're like, no. 1965, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious from the film Mary Poppins hit number 66. And they probably are going to slap me with a copyright strike with that. So, 1967, Egyptian President Nasser closed the Straits of Tiran to Israeli shipping. I wonder why. What was going on in 67 with Israel and all that stuff? I mean...
Well, that's after the 6-Day War or whatever.
Okay.
I think that was in 66, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So, yeah, they weren't real friends. They were enemies.
Yeah. Oh. 1967 as well, a fire at L'Innovation department store killed 322 in Brussels, Belgium. Yikes. From our other source here, it says L'Innovation department store in Brussels, Belgium burnt down, resulting in 323 dead or missing and 150 injured, the most devastating fire in Belgian history. Jeez.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. 1968, Pittsburgh Pirates future Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Willie Stargell hit 3 home runs, a double and a single in a 13-6 rout of the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field.
Happened to catch him play when the Pirates came to town. He was still with them. Willie Stargell. Yeah.
Nice. Let's see here. 1969, Stafford and Cernan piloted Apollo 10 LEM, the lunar something module. Lunar Earth module, I don't know. Yeah, LEM. 9.4 miles or 15 kilometers above lunar surface, but from our other source, it says here Apollo 10's lunar module, not Lunad, flew within 8.4 nautical miles or 16 kilometers of the moon's surface. So it seems negligible, but which one is it? You know, semantics are, important when it comes to history.
Yeah.
Was it 15 kilometers or 16? It might not mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but be accurate.
Most likely one rounded up, one rounded down.
Yeah, but we have 9.4 miles and 8.4 nautical miles. So we have different mile systems going on here. What the hell?
Well, nautical is,
No, nautical is different.
Yeah, it is different, way different.
1972, Ceylon became Republic of Sri Lanka after as its constitution was ratified. Ceylon adopted a new constitution, becoming a republic and changing its name to Sri Lanka. So happy birthday, Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
72 as well, over 400 women in Derry attacked the offices of official Sinn Féin in Derry, North Ireland, following the shooting of William Best by the official Irish Republican Army. And William Best was a young British soldier on leave. So he was there on leave, and he got shot. So then, bunch of ladies got mad, and 400 of them went and kicked some teeth in. Okay.
Ireland's always been turmoil down there with the Brits.
Yeah, well,
I think it's finally over.
Well, as long as British still has laws on Ireland, they're not a free people. Fully free Ireland. 1973, President Nixon confessed his role in the Watergate cover-up. Yep. 1977, I am not a criminal. 1977, final European scheduled run of the Orient Express after 94 years.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Now, they brought it back for a little while, but I think it's since been done again. So, 1980, a video game Pac-Man created by Toru Iwatani was first released in Japan.
Wow.
All right.
That's huge.
Yeah. 1987, Canadian Rick Hansen completed his Man in Motion World Tour in a wheelchair at Vancouver's BC Place Stadium, raising money for spinal cord research. I think we spoke about a while ago when he started. And we were talking about maybe we'll talk about it. Well, I think we are, if I'm talking about the same thing. It's been so long. 1987 as well, the first ever Rugby World Cup kicked off with New Zealand playing Italy at Eden Park in Auckland, New Zealand. 1990, Deion Sanders became involved in a dispute with Chicago White Sox catcher Carlton Fisk, one of the most infamous incidents of Sanders' baseball career.
Never heard of that.
Neither have I. 1990, Microsoft released Windows 3.0.
Ooh.
Okay. 1990 as well, North and South Yemen were united, merging to create the Republic of Yemen. Yemen.
Yeah.
And we have Oman. Man and Yemen. So, 1992, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, and Slovenia joined the United Nations.
Oh.
Pretty cool.
So that was after they were warring. That was brutal.
Yeah. 1994, a worldwide trade embargo against Haiti went into effect to punish its military rulers for not reinstalling the country's ousted elected leader, Jean-Bertrand Aristide.
I wonder how Haiti's doing down there. That's a mess.
Yeah, didn't something happen not too long ago?
Well, it happened quite a while ago. I think it was during Obama's term, and he sent Clinton down there to mop it up or whatever.
God.
They had big earthquakes, but they just ruled by gangsters down there, I guess. I don't know.
Just like Mexico.
It's a mess.
Yeah. 1996, the Burmese military regime jailed 71 supporters of Aung San Suu Kyi in a bid to block a pro-democracy meeting. Yikes. So, just trying to screw over people. 1997, Kelly Flynn, U.S. Air Force's first female bomber pilot certified for combat, accepted a general discharge in order to avoid a court-martial. Whoops, what happened?
I have no idea.
That's not looking good for the future aspect of women in uniform.
No.
So,
what a shame.
I know, right?
I wonder if she ever flew any missions.
I don't know. So, in 1998, Lewinsky scandal, a federal judge ruled that United States Secret Service agents can be compelled to testify before a grand jury concerning the scandal involving President Bill Clinton. We have from our other source here, a U.S. federal judge ruled that U.S. Secret Service agents can be compelled to testify before a grand jury concerning the Lewinsky scandal involving President Bill Clinton. So, 2002, U.S. Civil Rights Movement, a jury in Birmingham, Alabama, almost makes me want to put in the sound effect of chewing tobacco, Alabama, Convicted former Ku Klux Klan member Bobby Frank Cherry of the 1963 murders of 4 girls in the bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. So, wow. That's awful.
Yeah.
2003 in Fort Wales, Texas, or Fort Worth, Texas, Annika Sorensson became the first woman to play the PGA Tour in 58 years. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2004, the U.S. town of Hallam, Nebraska, was wiped out by a powerful EF4 tornado, or just F4 tornado, that broke a width record of an astounding 2.5 miles wide.
Whoa!
It also killed 1 local resident. Okay, well that sucks for them, but that's like a miracle. 2.5 mile wide.
Only 1 death. Well, that is a miracle.
Okay, so to put it the best way I can explain it, a Star Destroyer, from Star Wars, is about 1 mile in length. Now put 2.5 of them. That's how wide this sucker was.
Yeah. Well,
that is
2.5 miles. Yeah.
Whoa. 2006 results from the Montenegrin independence referendum 2006 were announced. 55.4% of voters voted to become independent. That's from the Serbia and Montenegro Union. Okay, so over half, majority rules.
Yeah.
Independent Montenegro. 2010, Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus' remains were reburied in Fornburg Cathedral, Poland, after a 200-year search for his tomb. Wow. So they 200 years to find Copernicus, massive name in aviation history. He was the first guy to jump off a building,
Yeah.
So, actually, I don't think he was trying to fly, now that I think about it. 2010 as well, Air India Express Flight 812, a Boeing 737, crashed over a cliff upon landing at Bangalore, India, killing 158 of 166 people on board, becoming the deadliest crash involving a Boeing 737 until the crash of Lion Air Flight 610, when was that? What year? And this has to be more recent, because this was only like 2010 here. We also have Inter Milan beats Bayern in Munich 2-0 in the UEFA Champions League final in Madrid, Spain, becoming the first and so far only Italian team to win the historic treble, Serie A Coppa Italia Champions League. All right. 2011, an EF5 tornado struck the U.S. city of Joplin, Missouri, killing at least 158 people and wreaking, and I wrote this down, $2.8 billion. That's what $2.8 billion looks like, in a number. $800 million. Like, that's in damages. The single deadliest U.S. tornado since modern record began in 1950. However, another source labels it the costliest and 7th deadliest single tornado in U.S. history. So it's the costliest, but how does it go from single to 7th? That is
maybe one of them's extrapolating earlier. Maybe the first one in 1990, that was the end of their information. They're going up to 2011. Who knows?
2012, SpaceX COTS Demo Flight 2 launched a Dragon capsule on a Falcon 9 rocket in the first commercial flight to the International Space Station. And, they've been bailing astronauts out ever since, 2012, Tokyo Skytree opened to the public. It is the tallest tower in the world at 634 meters and the second tallest man-made structure on Earth after the Burj Khalifa, 829.8 meters. Now, that's kind of confusing because I'm pretty sure it might not be anymore, but there was, wasn't the Kiev radio mast like the tallest thing ever built?
No, I don't know.
So... was it the Kiev or something? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
So, but there's a difference between a building and a structure, because you can say, oh, it's the world's tallest building, it's the world's tallest structure, it's the world's tallest antenna, and then you get into freestanding versus cable-mounted support to stand. Like the radio antennas, they have cables to give them leeway for the wind. Yeah. They're so tall. So. 2014, Royal Thai Armed Forces, led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha, staged a coup in Thailand, suspending the kingdom's constitution and taking control of the government. The 12th since the country's first coup in 1939. Yikes. That is massively destable. We have from our other source here, General Prayut Chan-o-cha became interim leader of Thailand in a military coup d'etat following the 6 months of political turmoil. And This is okay. This is Thailand, not Taiwan. So different Thai.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, Thailand. You know, formerly known as Siam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
So, 2015, Ireland became the first country in the world.
Ireland.
Became the first country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage by popular votes. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the Republic of Ireland became the first nation in the world to utilize a public referendum to legalize homosexual marriage. So, all right. You know, it's becoming common spread. Pretty cool. You know? Hey, if they want to get married and be miserable for the rest of their lives, you know, hey, I have a great idea. Let's bring the government into our relationship. Yeah, come on in, Uncle Sam. Come on in. Yeah, that's what we need. We need a third wheel in this bitch. Let's see here. 2015. Oh, just when you thought you were out of the woods, Pakistan began the first test-playing nation cricket tour of Zimbabwe since 2009.
No. I'd forgotten cricket. Cricket.
It was glorious all the way to the end. You didn't even realize how happy you were.
I didn't realize we had missed it until we didn't.
2017, Japanese researchers from the University of Yamanashi reported birth of mice from freeze-dried sperm stored on the International Space Station. I don't know what to think about this. I don't want to be freezing humans and you know, reviving Paul from, you know, 1975 into the year of Gazorpagorp, you know, 29, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be freeze-drying. I am not a Hot Pocket! So, 2017, Japanese we got that one. 2017 as well. South Africa's Western Cape province declared a drought disaster, the worst for 113 years. Yikes. 2017, a suicide bombing at Manchester Arena, England, after Ariana Grande concert killed 22 and injured 59. Yikes. An Ariana Grande concert. Like, we have here 22 people were killed at an Ariana Grande concert in the 2017 Manchester Arena bombing. So I'm not sure if they were doing this because of her, or if she was just so happened to be there and they were just, you know, going to bomb the place anyway.
You do know that there's a group of assembled mass amount of people.
Yeah.
Good time to hit. Now maybe it was more than that, but we know that for sure.
Yeah. 2017 as well, United States President Donald Trump visited the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem and became the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Western Wall, all the while wearing a yarmulke. So, 2018, Australian court found Archbishop of Adelaide, Philip Wilson, guilty of covering up sexual abuse in 1970s, most senior Catholic priest to be convicted. Crikey. I was trying to think of what a Catholic Australian would sound like. I guess like any other Australian.
Just like any Australian, I say, yeah.
Well, crikey, Lord. Yeah, I don't know. 2018, New York Stock Exchange announced Stacey Cunningham will be its first woman held in its woman head in its 226-year history. That's awesome. Yeah. 2019, Washington State became the first U.S. state to legalize why can't I read this? Composting human bodies.
Wow, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, well, we've covered this in the news show and such. That's coming.
Compost is where you put everything.
You mulch.
Yeah, mulch.
Yeah, like that scene out of The World's End. That British dead bodies are processed mulch. Mulched? Excuse me. I am not made of wood chips. You know, like. But yeah, no, it's legal. It's down here too, in California, as a green alternative. You know, to they don't want to bury because now you're disturbing the ecosystem. Oh no, the worms. You don't want to burn. Cremate because now you're polluting the air. What are you gonna do? You mulch humans and you use them as fertilizer. You plant a tree, in their grave, and that's cool and all. But I don't want to be mulched. Like I want. After I die, I want my body to be thrown from a trebuchet and bury me where I land. It's destiny, it's fate. That's where I land. That's my grave right there. Dig a hole and put me there. So, 2020, China unveiled new national security legislation against Hong Kong at its annual legislative session. Yeah, well, war against Hong Kong. So, how convenient. The whole Kung Flu thing happened right at the height of that all. So. Nothing happened in Tiananmen Square in 1986? Avert your eyes? Or was it 88?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Tank Man! 2021, and this is like, I remember this, and they're still trying to suppress it. It's not in our main source. 2021, just 4 years ago, hypothermia killed 21 runners in the 100-kilometer or 60-mile Gansu ultramarathon disaster in China. They had them running all over the place in rural China, like miles from civilization. And because, what's the year, 2021? What was going on? Stay 6 feet apart, no handing off of water, no assisting.
So imagine it like that happen.
Yeah, they did. Well, how did they die of hypothermia?
I don't know.
They got no help.
First off, that it was 100 and half, what?
100 kilometers, 60 miles.
They don't tell the heat part.
Well, no, but it was hypothermia. Yeah. Like they were out there, all day and all night. Like they were. It's 60 miles, so they were there overnight. They camped on the track. It wasn't a one-day marathon. It was a multiple day, and where you stopped until the next day when you woke up. They didn't come and pick you up on a bus.
All of that?
Because I've looked into it.
Oh, okay.
They died of hypothermia because they were into the elements. Because nothing was provided to the athletes. Because it's China. 2021, a report released on sexual abuse in U.S. Southern Baptist Convention, the country's largest Protestant denomination, detailed 20 years of suppressing many allegations. So we've had 2 articles covering this stuff of the Catholic Church. 2023, new deal cutting water usage of the Colorado River, agreed by California, Arizona, and Nevada, aims to conserve 3 million acre-feet of water by 2026. This sounds awful. And something this reeks of Nestle. Nestle has to be involved in this somehow. So that's just my conjecture. And last but not least, just last year, Ireland, Norway, and Spain. Ireland, here we go again, announced they will formally recognize a Palestinian state on 28th of May, joining 9 other European nations. Pretty interesting how everybody recognized Palestine, and then the UN happened, and then Israel was shoehorned in there, and then all of a sudden nobody recognized Palestine anymore. That's kind of weird. So, I don't know. Anyway, that shall conclude the show for today. Slightly over an hour, but a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Once again, please check the underbar, description below for any info that, for any links that you might enjoy, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For all of you and all of us, I am A.O. Xander.
Golden Loon.
Yep, and you are you until you catch us next time, whenever it is, wherever it is, because we stream this, try to do it every day. We do a news show. We have I'm Okay, You're Okay. We're going to get that back up.
That off again.
Next month. We have that podcast, coming up involving Foxhole and all that stuff. Super excited for that. So keep your eyes peeled for however disturbing that, annotation is, sounds. It's like a Ren and Stimpy thing. Till next time.